Hi everyone, here's what's bothering me today. There is an article from the Globe and Mail that should be ringing alarm bells for everyone, and one would hope that this would finally spur government action. But we have the Liberal Party, so nothing's probably going to happen. So here's the deal. A 33-year-old buyer named Greg has an income of more than $200,000. And he and his partner or his wife were ready with a $450,000 down payment. And they have still not been able to successfully bid on homes, not in Toronto, but in the suburbs. For example, they had been house shopping north of Toronto, especially around Markham, Stouffville, and Uxbridge. Google Uxbridge. It is, or you'd think it would be a quaint little village outside the GTA, surrounded by farmland. Homes are apparently going for $1 million there now. This is the situation just in Toronto and the GTA. These are people looking for homes in the suburbs. Not even the suburbs. Uxbridge is literally like a village outside and far away from everything. Markham is part of the GTA suburban landscape now. Okay, Uxbridge is not. And this is only just part of the problem. Talk to anyone born and raised in the lower mainland of BC. It's unaffordable. This thing, the Canadian Constitution, tells us that we have freedom of movement, and yet it seems people can't exercise that right these days. Not just because of the pandemic, but because of the unaffordability of many of Canada's largest cities. The most infamous are Toronto and Vancouver, but Montreal is getting more expensive for people. Ottawa now has routinely million-dollar homes going within many of its neighborhoods, whether they're in the inner part of the city or not. I can't speak for Alberta, I don't know much about them, but I can only imagine that now things are probably getting just as bad. This is a problem where people with, again, that kind of money, that kind of annual income, and that much of a down payment saved up, nearly $500,000 saved up for a down payment, and they still have not been successful in buying a house because the bidding can just become too extreme. This is no longer a red hot market. This is the blinding surface of the sun. It's inhospitable. And this is something that lots of people are being faced with. And with the increasing urbanization of Canada and most other nations, we're not keeping up with actually giving enough space and time and resources so that those who wish and desire to move to the city for better economic opportunities actually have a place to stay that they can afford to stay in. Stuff like this should be completely unacceptable. This is the unfortunate reality that some people have to deal with. An example from this article shows that they decided to put in a bid on a home listed at $999,999, and that was 21% more than the asking price. And the house went for 35% over asking price. What is going on here, and who are the people who have this kind of disposable income to go over 35% of the seller's asking price? This is like going to a supermarket and saying, you know what, instead of paying, let's say, $1 for an apple, I want to spend $1.35 just because. I just want to make it more expensive, and I really like apples. I'm going to corner the market on apples, and now these people can't afford apples anymore. And the reason why I bring this up is because this is kind of how, unfortunately, a lot of foods like quinoa and kale, because now a bunch of young professionals want them, it's making them unaffordable for the people who have traditionally harvested these crops, especially in Peru and Bolivia. But that's a subject for a different time. I'm here talking about the grotesque beast that is the housing market in Canada, and the complete lack of government effort to do anything to tamp down on it, because that would be bad for business. How bad is it that people like this, with that kind of disposable income and that kind of a down payment saved up, can't actually successfully buy a home? Never mind someone like me who makes way less than $200,000 a year. If people who are doing objectively way better than me financially are struggling to find a home, that's a problem. That is a crisis. And that is something that leadership should actually take on as a challenge and begin to address. But they won't, because we live in a neoliberal capitalist nightmare. And that's what's bothering me today.